Hi, this is a video response to Miss Trudy's 19 questions. Now, Rich did his response and he paraphrased the questions in this little notebook. Now, I can't watch your video at the moment, Miss Trudy, because we're not friends yet. So I'm just using Rich's paraphrases to respond. Okay, so my favourite restaurant is a Chinese restaurant called China Red, which brings me on to my favourite food, which is Chinese food. I've just had a Chinese takeaway tonight, in fact, Peking chicken. It was lovely. Favourite meal at home? I like fillet steak. I like it cooked medium rare, and our local butcher, who's about 2 miles in the next village, does the most amazing fillet steaks, and they're so much better than supermarket ones. Do I like fruitcake? I do. I love fruitcake, and it's something that my nana always used to make. She was a really proficient home baker, and she made the most amazing fruitcake. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. But that's just one of the many wonderful things I remember about her. Do I prefer coffee or tea? It depends on my mood. I don't drink a lot of either. Coffee, generally, if I'm feeling tired, I will, as a last resort, have a strong cup of coffee. I can't get my words out. And if I'm not feeling well, I will generally drink tea. Otherwise, I tend to stick to cold drinks, fruit juices, and that sort of thing. First movie I went to see. Now, my memory's all skewed, so it's one of two. It was either My Girl with Macaulay Culkin in it, or it was Peter Pan, the Disney version. I think it must have been My Girl, because my mum was pregnant when we went to see Peter Pan, and she laughed so much. We all thought she was going to deliver right there in the cinema. Fortunately, she didn't. But no, My Girl made me absolutely sob my eyes out, and it still does. Did I take vacations growing up? Sadly, no, I didn't really. Well, not abroad. I did spend every summer holiday, half-term break, Easter holiday with my nana, which that in itself was as good as any foreign holiday. I first travelled abroad when I was 12 with my school orchestra, and that was to Holland, and I went again with them to Germany when I was 14. And apart from that, my only foreign holiday was to Egypt in 2003 with Rich. Favourite television show as a child? God, there were so many. My parents tell me that as a very small baby, my favourite television show was one called The Clangers. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they were like these little pink, furry, mouse-like creatures, but they had like long elephant trunks for noses, and they didn't talk, they whistled, sort of like. To raise money as I was growing up, my parents devised a credits system whereby every job or task that I did around the house would earn me a certain number of credits every time I did it. Each credit was worth 5 pence, and at the end of each month these would be added up, because I used to record them on a whiteboard in the kitchen, and I would get my money. Right, I got my Well, I worked from being 15 part-time as a waitress, and then from 18 as a barmaid. I left school in 2004. My last exam was on the 26th of June, and I started my first full-time job on the 19th of July, which was with a building company. I was the office junior stroke dog's body stroke skivvy stroke scapegoat, and my first paycheck was actually quite poor because I started in the middle of the month, so my first paycheck was only actually for like 2 weeks' work. So it was, you know, just like a few £100, £200 or £300, something like that. And I had to survive for a whole month on that till I got paid again, which then I got, I think, £600. Have I sung in a choir? I have. I was in the choir all the way through school up to being about 12. Have I performed in a play? I have. I usually ended up being the narrator rather than one of the players. I think purely for the fact that my reading skills were better than my acting skills, and I was incredibly shy as a child. The first car I owned was a Nissan Micra. Have I ever met a celebrity? I've met Philip Schofield and Fern Britton, who present a breakfast television programme over here in the UK called This Morning. I've also met Dermot O'Leary, who is a pretty well-known television presenter over here in the UK. And he's a very nice man, and he gave me a kiss. Music on a desert island. Right, I remember Rich saying that there was no batteries for this one, so I think iPods and Walkmans are out of the question. So it would have to be the music in my head. So I'll just have to keep myself entertained by singing to myself. The last movie I went to see was a Quentin Tarantino production called Hostel. If I could travel anywhere in the world, where would I go? I've always wanted to go to Australia to see the wildlife, the landscape, and I'd love to go snorkeling or scuba diving. And question 19. Where would I retire to? Well, me and Rich have already discussed this, and we've talked about retiring to Egypt, as it's somewhere we've both been and we both like, although we may decide to retire somewhere else as, you know, as we travel to different places together. But yeah, Egypt at the moment. Okay, I'll speak to you later, Miss Truly. Bye.